All right, folks. My favorite topic: babyface or heel. Now, for those who may not know what babyface heel means in wrestling terminology, babyface is a good guy, heel is a bad guy, tweener is someone in between babyface or heel. So I come up with a list of athletes, celebrities, or some noticeable people, and myself in the panel. We're going to decide whether they are a babyface, heel, or tweener. Tony Romo,
Mm,
babyface. He's likable. I mean, look, I like listening to what Tony Romo has to say regarding football. I mean, when he does the NFL on CBS with Jim Nantz, I like the fact how he predicts plays before it's demonstrated. That's what's so unique about with Tony Romo. And plus, he gives off so much enthusiasm. And that's what I like about Tony Romo. And look, even though he had a good football career, Tony Romo would have more of a chance of being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as an announcer or a broadcaster because the way that he has been doing his job now on the NFL on CBS, he's likable. All I mean, he's still up there with the Dallas Cowboys for the most yards, most touchdowns. Tony Romo, look, there have been moments you look at him, the bobbled snap against Seattle. You look at the game against the Giants just before him and Jason Witten, they were at Cabo San Lucas, um, having a good time. And then after the game in which he threw the interception, Terrell Owens came to his defense. That's my quarterback. That's my teammate. Tony Romo is an example of man. He was a really good quarterback. What could have been for Tony Romo because it always goes back to me with that Denver game. 506 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. Statistically, Tony Romo's best game of his career, but ended off that game with that one ugly interception. Believe it or not, he outplayed Peyton Manning throughout mostly in that game.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Tony Romo, he's a top 10 quarterback. I think he got too much blame and criticism because they looked at him not being able to step up in clutch moments, the Jessica Simpson situation. But Jerry Jones, early on in his career, he should have gotten him an offensive line because had you done that, Tony Romo would have lasted longer. And Tony Romo wouldn't have to retire at 36, 37. And plus, when Dak Prescott was on that great rookie year, it took every bit of Tony Romo to acknowledge Dak is our guy. And it took an awful lot for Tony Romo to swallow his pride and say, you know what? Even though I would love to be playing on that field, even though I would love to be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott has earned that right. He said it himself. Football's a meritocracy. You aren't handed everything. It's earned. And when you look at Tony and his career, great guy, no off the field issues, loves golf, loves basketball, very fun, very relatable guy. I say babyface.
I'll say Babyface too. He was probably in terms of even though I give the Dallas Cowboys hell because of that NFC Championship stat where every team except them has been back to the NFC Championship game since 1996. As much as I give them crap about that stat, there was one guy I did root for the Dallas Cowboys to get to an NFC Championship game, and it was Tony Romo. Not even gonna lie, because Tony Romo really epitomized what that franchise was like in those kind of early mid 2000s, like peak, like especially those mid 2000 teams, like peak Dallas Cowboys when they could really when they could have seriously made a couple of NFC title games, and it's just it was. You hated he never got there, but he's a baby face because he's likable. He's likable. He has a passion for the game, whether he's a quarterback, whether he's an announcer. I mean, he's very engaging, and I mean, he seems to me like the type that would never duck out, would never back out of a conversation, would never duck out on a conversation, open and willing to just talk about any and everything, life, football. Tony Romo just strikes me as that type, as a likable, fun going, just fun personality to be around. That just that charisma that he possesses. Yeah, Tony Romo is a guy you can't really root against, that you get behind. So yeah, Tony Romo's a babyface for me.
Big fella.
Undisputed babyface. Have we so easily forgotten that he was the underdog coming into the league? He was undrafted coming from Eastern Illinois. He was undrafted. Had to beat out not only Benny Testaverde, but also Drew Bledsoe for the quarterback position. In fact, coming into that one, people wouldn't even think about him. They was talking about they brought Drew Henson back for a stint.
Mm-hmm.
They brought Drew Henson back. That's how desperate they were for a quarterback. And for him to come in and add some stability to that organization who had not had a lot of stability since Troy Aikman was amazing. Think about the quarterbacks that they had leading up to Tony Romo. Steve Hutchinson, Chad Hutchinson, Quincy Carter had a brilliant season here or there. Then, they went through Benny Testaverde, who undoubtedly was an interception machine. You talk about Brett Favre, Benny Testaverde. When you talk about high risk, very, very high reward, that's Benny Testaverde. So then they got Drew Bledsoe, to be a Parcells factor. Then they finally benched him, the veteran quarterback who had been to a Super Bowl and everything, got replaced by Tom Brady. And they brought Tony Romo in. They saw what he could do. Eventually, they made the playoffs. Credit to Sean Payton for discovering him. Credit to him for discovering Tony Romo, because he's the one who discovered him. As a matter of fact, it wasn't supposed to be Drew Brees in New Orleans. It was supposed to be Tony Romo and Sean Payton. But Jerry Jones said, hell no, you're not getting Tony Romo. This was before he even was the starter, back when Drew Bledsoe was the starter. But he said, no, you're not getting Tony Romo. He was going to trade for, and ironically, although Romo was riding the bench, he offered a second-round pick in order to get it. So it was supposed to be Romo and Sean Payton, not Brees and Sean Payton. They only went after Brees when they saw they wasn't going to get Tony Romo.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. That was a trade that almost. So
and shout out to Tony Romo. Ricky Tony Romo won me a Yahoo Fantasy League his rookie year when he came in to be the starter. So shout out Ricky Tony Romo. Had to get that little quick, funny little tidbit in there. Won me a fantasy league. So shout out to you, sir.
Yes, indeed. So how can you not root for the underdog? He wasn't supposed to be there. He fought the odds in order to get the quarterback position. Finally became the quarterback. Finally was able to elevate himself. Finally was able to be an all-pro. Finally was able to get close to an NFC championship game. It just wasn't to be. I mean, the thing is, if we were talking about him on any other team outside the Cowboys, if we were talking about him on, let's say, the Arizona Cardinals and he did what he did, he'd probably be held in high regard. If he was talking about him on, let's say, another type of team, let's say the Carolina Panthers, he'd be held in high regard.
But because it's Dallas, America's team.
But because he was on the Cowboys, people kind of, the spotlight is on you times a million in Dallas, just like it is in the Los Angeles Lakers franchise. So unfortunately, he has to deal with that. And unfortunately, look, you gotta, there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with when you're in Dallas. That's the criticism of losing and the spotlight Jerry Jones have, and following in the footsteps of the expectation of being a star back, of being a Troy Aikman. Unfortunately, that's what comes with the territory. So when you think about that, I will put him as a undisputed babyface. He's the undisputed babyface. Underdog to starting quarterback of the most recognized franchise in league history. He was an underdog first. He wasn't the big dog. He wasn't the number one overall pick. His criticism was equal to that of a first overall pick. And he was undrafted coming out of Eastern Illinois. Was discovered by Sean Payton. Won the starting job over a veteran quarterback that being in Drew Bledsoe. Was able to lead them to a playoff win. And was able to have some brilliant seasons. And like I stated, if he's playing for any other team outside of the Dallas Cowboys, are we holding some of those bad things against him? Probably not. We understand that his talent is great. He provided stability for that organization at the quarterback position when they had none. And look, just like BRF said, the way he handled himself professionally, which, like I stated earlier, that goes back to what I stated earlier. It takes a leader to understand when it's time to take a step back. And the fact that he was a leader and understood that it was time to take a step back, that says a lot about your character and a lot about your morals. So I would say undisputed babyface for Tony Romo, man.
All right, this one is a conflicting one for me because he used to play for my team. Bob Griffin, better known as Robert Griffin III, RG3.
Next. I'll say Tweener, man. I'll say Tweener. I won't give him I'm not going to give him a lot of hell because for every one bad thing that he's criticized of saying, he said a hell of a lot of good things. I'll never forget when they was talking about him and when they was criticizing one of the players for not putting up when they was criticizing Lamar Jackson. I'll never forget when they was criticizing Lamar Jackson for during his contract year of not getting on the field. And they said, well, if he's injured, put a brace on that thing. And he was like,
that was Michael Vick. Yeah, Michael Vick.
He was like, no, we're not doing that. They're not doing that. So and he really, really stood up for him. And he really, really stood up for him.
To validate that champ, he also commended Washington for not rushing Jaden Daniels to play.
Yes, indeed. He also commended them for not doing that. So I think that he gets that's bad. The Feast of Corey is hurt, guys. But so let's hope that's not serious. But back to the lecture at hand, we'll cover the W at another time. Then the coach damn near got the fight on the court for the Minnesota Lynx. That was crazy, but my star player goes out, and yeah. I will say this: for every one thing for that one big thing that he was criticized of, he said
regarding the WNBA, Angel Reese.
Yeah, regarding the W, and look, I'm gonna just say it. If it had been any other player, would we have had strong criticism for it? Probably not. But because of a lot of the controversy that stems from Angel Reese's name, that she gets already, and she's already getting, that's why a lot of fans came to her rescue, including myself. But for every one bad thing he may have said, from every one hot take he may have said, I think he said a lot of great things as well. Plus, he was a hell of a ball player. I understand that he has some weird ass ways about himself, to say the least. All them damn milk jokes and
weird.
Look, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be kind today. I said,
that's your problem. You're too damn kind.
I told the Lord today I was going to be kind, so I'm going to be kind today. But yeah, I'm not going to be the atomic bomb like I am on the other show. But for every one bad thing he might say, there's a lot of good shit that he said. And I can say in his defense that he said. But like I stated, that one Angel Reese thing got everybody going. And, his beef with Ryan Clark and some of the kind of cringeworthy things that he do on the internet, the whole milk thing, saying jigaboo on damn Sports Center. And although he came out and apologized about that, but brother, read the damn room and realize where you at in this world. You can't say that type of stuff on television like that. But for every one bad thing he may have said, especially the one about Angel, he said a hell of a lot more good things. But honestly, like I keep saying all the time, man, 1,000 attaboys is erased by one odd shit. And I believe that whole comment about Angel Reese and him lying about certain stuff about Angel Reese, that was his aw shit moment. And unfortunately, that's going to go with him forever. But for every one bad thing he may have said, he said a ton of good things that you can really commend him for. And guess what? For that, I'll label him a tweener. But, all them little milk things and milk jokes. But look, I'm going to just be real. Who am I to talk, man? I'm always talking about the chocolate factory. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't talk about anybody when it comes to that regards. So, hey, every time you look at my story, if you know, I got the chocolate in the story. So I really can't talk about RG3 when it comes to the milk because, hey,
you should talk to D about that because she sent you something.
Don't put business out in front of company. Don't put business out in front of company. But yeah, shout out to D by the way. I was in the middle of a project when that went on, and that was the most funniest, most craziest things I have experienced. And for me to open up the phone, I'm thinking it's going to be something funny. Because usually, it's something motivational. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, let me see what motivation is. They're like, yeah, that's a different type of motivation right there. But it was good, though. 10 out of 10. must have it again. But I can't get mad at RG3 because he's the kind of awkward fella he's kind of awkward, But like I said, for every one bad thing he may have said, there's several good takes that he's had. And unfortunately, people are going to hold that one thing against him. And, when you say one bad thing, unfortunately, that gets the headlines versus 1,000 good things you can do. You can walk around the corner and help. You can go around the corner, help old people with their groceries, help children, open up programs. But then you go outside and beat up some guy with a stick, and all of a sudden you're the greatest man to love. But you're the most hated man alive. But yeah, but like Dwayne said, a lot of those milk jokes and stuff like that is kind of weird, man. I know I joke a lot about certain things but when the way he says and the way he looks and all them old ugly ass outfits he be wearing on that look like he finna go to a country club and play pickleball. I mean, it's weird. It's cringeworthy.
Champ, you could say corny. I mean, if people talk about Russell Wilson being corny, what do you think of RG3?
I don't think Russell's corny, to be honest with you. I really think that he's a mild-mannered cat, and people don't understand.
Did you not see them Subway commercials that he did?
I understand that, but the thing is, we live in a
Mr.
culture
Unlimited.
Yeah, but I'm getting paid for that. But they paying me to do that. But I don't think.
Okay. Because I'm getting paid because I got a supermodel wife in Sierra. Hey, it's all good.
Look, man. If I went home to that every night, I wouldn't give a damn what people thought about me. You can call me corny all you want. Hey, you can look. If I'm Russell Wilson, look here. I'm gonna just be all the way 100 on this television show. You can call me corny all you want to. She got 5 babies for a reason, partner. So I'm just going to keep it all the way above. So you can call me corny or whatever you want. But that superstar wife I just got, she got 5 of mine. So, y'all can go jump in the lake.
BRF.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, our main man, Bob Griffin. Oh, Bob. He's trying to get back in the good graces with some of his more recent tweets. I know he had put one out not too long ago. He was defending somebody. I can't remember who he was defending, but I know he was definitely defending somebody. He's trying to get back in the good graces. I mean, I have to go, but I definitely have to go tweener here with him because as a college football player and his first year in Washington, I mean, electric. You really couldn't get any electric from that. And then when you talk to him and you kind of get the understanding of him, his personality, he represents a lot of the right things. You know he's because I think he's basically a military brat. So I mean he's had to learn and grow up and like see things that you know whether it's kids or whatever how old he is don't necessarily get to see with that type of upbringing. But so yeah, there's the good, but then like you said, the really like it was the Angel Reese. It was the Angel Reese situation with him, and he's in the and now it's like he's got beef going with Ryan Clark now, so it's like it's kind of like one of them things. But yeah, for me, he is a tweener though because for a lot of the crazy stuff recently that he's tweeted, he's put out good stuff, and I mean he will defend. He will defend the right person when it's time to, speak out for them. So definitely, I would definitely say tweener, but like I don't think it's not in any sense of just a slight to him. I think it's just mainly like situations that he was forced into or situations that he puts himself into. And you feel like he might not have always handled it the way he should have handled it. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to respect him for what he did in college, going to Baylor, winning the Heisman, and then year plus that year plus just magical run and play with Washington. So yeah, Rob, yeah, he's a tweener for me. He's a tweener for me.
Heel.
Okay. Mm.
Here's why. First of all, regarding the Angel Reese thing, he falsely claimed that there's beef between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Okay? He falsely claimed that there's beef between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and he even heard from Angel Reese's camp. But according to Angel Reese and her mom, that wasn't the case. They publicly went on social media and denied what RG3 said. So that looks bad. Plus, he retweeted the photo of Angel Reese depicted, I believe, Champ, as a monkey on the cover of NBA 2K26, the WNBA version. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
My thing with RG3, he could have just condemned the tweet. He could have just condemned the photo and leave it at that. But then he was trying to make a justification on why he was right, on why there was beef between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You mentioned Washington. I mean, he was in his first year in Washington, and I will say this as a Commanders fan, he was electric. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He helped Washington win the division. They were 3-6 at one point during that season, and then we ended up going 10-6. And then he was never the same. Whether it was injuries, plus Champ, it was also reported that he wanted to change the offense. He and his father, they spoke to Washington, and they said, we're done. We don't want to run the spread offense anymore. We want to be Peyton Manning. We want to be a traditional drop back pocket passer. And
yeah, I remember that.
And that's not RG3's strong suit. His RG3, in my opinion, you see how Lamar Jackson is playing right now? That's exactly what RG3 would have been. Had it not been for injuries and had he sticked with the offense that best suited him. Even though I admire him improving as a pocket passer, because eventually when your athleticism drops, you have to rely on other components in your game or to your arsenal. And although I respect and admire that with RG3, you're going away from the offense that best suited you. That was the spread offense that all Brawls ran at Baylor. And look, it was also reported, I believe Stephen A. Smith, Mike Shanahan didn't want RG3. He actually wanted Kirk Cousins. If you Google it right now, champ, according to Stephen A. Smith, he heard from his sources that Mike Shanahan did not want to draft Robert Griffin III. He was actually willing to hold on to that pick. Washington had the 6th overall pick. They moved up in the draft from the 6th to the number 2 overall pick to take RG3. According to Stephen A. Smith, Mike Shanahan was willing to hold on to his pick and draft Ryan Tannehill out of Texas A&M. And look, Mike, and look, for RG3, he had a lot for his factor because he not only had Mike Shanahan, he also had Kyle Shanahan. Think of the coaches that have come from Washington that are successful. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay,
Mike McDaniel,
Daniel. And this was under the Dan Snyder stewardship. Thank you, Dan Snyder, for fucking sabotaging that franchise. Thank God your ass is no longer there anymore, but I digress. But also, and another reason why I say heel, Rob Parker. What were the comments? What were the and shout out to our guy, Fun Football Podcast. Shout him out. Please go check him out. He does a great job with his podcast, and also he's a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. Remember Champ BRF, and I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. Remember what Rob Parker said on ESPN that led to his departure about RG3? Is he a brother or a cornball brother? And when you see the things that RG3 has been doing on social media, particularly milk and a lot of other stuff, there's credence to what Rob Parker alluded to. Rob Parker did call it, and it eventually cost him his job from ESPN. It took him a while for him to get back to the media to get to now go to Fox Sports.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, there's a lot of things that he has done that makes me kind of question.
Definitely Fun Football.
But like I said, for every one bad thing that he said, particularly with the Angel Reese situation, he said several good ones. I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Cut out the damn milk jokes. Nobody wants to hear that shit all the time. I understand. I get it. When you have a girl, you have a wife, especially when you have a wife, you want to big her up and you want to show the world that you love her as much as possible.
To which Ryan Clark, I'm sorry to interrupt you, champ. He even said, "Hey, I think his wife is a beautiful woman. I think she's a lot more than what RG3 calls her, which is milk." That's what Ryan Clark also said as well too. And the problem I have with RG3 with Angel Reese, you claim that there's beef, but Angel Reese and her mom were like, "Nah, you're blowing it out of proportion. You're making stuff up."
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, that's one big thing that turned into a molehill. That was a mountain that was made out of a molehill. It was a mountain. And like I stated, it was because how Angel Reese is viewed in the media. That's because of, a lot of different factors, which we won't go into. But the thing is, for that one big thing, there's been several other things that he got right. Unfortunately, we're going to remember. Unfortunately, when you live a life of peace, the only moments that people are going to remember is the chaos. And that was his moment of chaos. Now, as far as the milk is concerned, is it weird? Hell yes, it is. Would I do it? No. But the thing is, for every one bad thing that he's probably said, it was a good thing. And you got to think about it. Mike Shanahan didn't last but a few years as the Washington Commanders head coach. Then he had Dre Gruden, who wasn't worth the salt and the bread as a coach. As evident, he hasn't had a coaching job since. So, and they even got in a little beef about it. Recently.
Yeah.
So, for every one bad thing that you would, and like I stated, especially when it's America's Barbie, that being Angel Reese, when you go after and say untrue things about her, of course you're gonna feel the full force of everybody's wrath. But for every one bad thing that he said, there's been several other ones where you can say, okay, he has a point there. All right, he has a point there. Hell, he even bigged up. Even if you go back and look at it, during the second half of the season when she was on a flat out tear, who was the first person to announce it? RG3. When she won Defensive Player of the Year in Unrivaled. Who was the first person to announce it outside of myself? Because they claim people that wasn't watching it. Who's the first person to announce that she won Defensive Player of the Year when she was Unrivaled before that incident in the first game even happened? It was RG3. So for every one bad thing that he may have said, it's been like 50 good things, but the chaos is always going to make the news.
Totally. But unfortunately, Chad, people are going to remember nowadays with social media, people are going to remember more of the bad than the good. And sadly, with RG3, he did that to himself. He should have been more careful with what he said and what he thought. Only good thing I can say out of RG3, he ain't nothing worse than Jason Whitlock. That's a different ballgame. Because, I mean, hell, you've said it before, champ. Your worst fear, your nightmare is to be mentioned Jason Whitlock. You said you would stop doing content, podcasting, and all that stuff if you were ever mentioned in the same sentence as Jason Whitlock.
And I would quit on the spot. I would not want to be mentioned in that, because if that starts happening, then I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job correctly. And that's a big blow. If that ever happened, I'm like, I'm not doing my job correctly. Let me stop before I put myself in a hole. So that's just that's just my assessment, because guess what? I don't want anybody to ever, I put a footprint as far as sports, and your name goes a long way. When you get tied up into situations where you're being compared to very, very controversial journalists, then guess what? I don't want my name to be carried with controversy. I want my name to be carried with merit, with honor, integrity, and knowing what the blank I'm talking about, not for controversy, just spewing ghostwritten stuff out of my face. So that's why I always said that I would quit, because I'm like, yes, I'm not doing something right then.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about that, champ. Look, people are going to say ridiculous things. At the end of the day, you just got to keep on going. Keep on going. I have an interesting one for Babyface or heel. Cardi B.
You know what?
Babyface.
You know what? I'm going to say Babyface, man. I'm for a lot of reasons, but
sexiness, unapologetic, driven, determined. She's got 4 kids. She's about to have 4 kids. She doesn't care if how many men she's with. Hey, she's gonna be happy and living her best life. And just like us, champ, she's a Libra.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, she's a Libra.
I did not know that, man. But look, man, did you see that dress she had on?
Yes.
That was amazing, wasn't it? That was amazing, wasn't it?
But you're too busy fantasizing about her and Joy Taylor. I mean, you got 2 peanut butter skins. I mean,
look, can you blame me, man? Did you see that? I mean, I'm just asking, did you see that?
What's next? Do I have to bring in WWE Lash? I got to show photos of Lash. I got to show you.
Jakira Jackson is cool. Well, her name's Myra Shade now, but yeah, I mean, Myra Shade now. You can bring in.
You want Lola Vice? You want Jada Parker?
Yeah, all of them. Bring them all. But
what are you, the Black Hugh Hefner?
No, never mind. I was about to say something, but I remember this is for the kids. But
all you need is a mansion and the bathrobe and you good.
oh no, man, we're not taking them to Playboy Mansion. We taking them to the studio. But to the studio. We taking them to the studio, man. But look, I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100, man. Look, I like the ratchetness. I like all of that, man. I like the whole look, be who you are. Look, be who you are. Like I always say, man, just because the masses don't like it doesn't mean it's wrong. People are going to give her flack for Stephon Diggs situations or whatever. I don't look. When people, I'm going to just be real. Everybody is not going to be nice. And everybody's not gonna do things by the book. Do I try to do things by the book? Yes, I do. But do I blame somebody for going out there and getting theirs when you got done wrong? Hell no, I don't. Because guess what? Just because people are gonna give you flack about something every day. Because when somebody else was doing their thing, nobody said a word. She go out there and do her thing, everybody got something to say. You know, it is what it is. I mean, and the thing is, guess what? I don't blame you. Look, you're going to go and do your thing. I'm going to go do mine too. It is what it is. Good, bad, right or wrong, right or indifferent. If you feel the need to make your moves by yourself, then guess what? Don't get mad at somebody else when they make a move. I mean, that's just the law. That's just the law of the land. The first law of nature is self-preservation. That's the first law of nature. You have to preserve self first. And if somebody who I'm in a relationship with is out there doing their thing, and I'm gonna go out there and do mine. And that's just the law of the West. If we bring it back, we bring it back. If not, so be it. I'm not finna you can't get mad. I hate when one thing I hate in life is double standards. We saw Offset do his thing or whatever, but all of a sudden, Cardi B, she's in a relationship and left out and in a relationship with a little souvenir now. Now all of a sudden everybody got something to say about it. But hey, he was doing his thing as well. You can't get pissed off at somebody when they doing their thing. And when everybody doing dirt, don't be surprised when mud gets slung around. That's the thing. When you do dirt, you get dirt. So I don't blame anybody for doing their thing. Like I said, would I do it? No, I try to do everything the right way. I try to do everything in accords. But in the great words of Chris Rock, but I understand. So, I mean, and I don't blame Stephon Diggs at all. That's Cardi, man. That's Cardi. So, I mean, that's Cardi. So, hey, when people are doing their thing and you decide to go off on a limb and do your own thing, that's fine. But, hey, you can't have double standards in this world. You can't be talking about, oh, yeah, this and that. And then you can't be silent when somebody is wronged. And then when they go out there and do something, then all of a sudden it's an uproar. That's kind of very, very double standard. And that's very, very like two-faced, if you ask me. That's kind of like somebody slapped me in public. And then I leave and go get a bat and go back and hit him in the face with a bat. Oh, man, you're wrong. This dude just slapped me. Like, what are you talking about? But unfortunately, the reaction gets the attention and not unfortunately, the retaliation gets the reaction and not the thing that started. Like I said, everybody's been there before. You hanging out and all of a sudden the school bully come by and pull a little prank and you sling him to the ground and you beat his butt. But the principal don't see the fact that he hit you with a water balloon. He only saw the fact that you beat his butt. But I like Cardi, man. It's the things about a person like she is what it is what it is. And guess what, man? If the only reason why people get pissed off at some of the stuff that celebrities do, let's just be honest, because you don't have an opportunity to do it. If you could do it, I would just be real. 9 times out of 10, if somebody could do the same thing that people could do to them, 9 times out of 10, they probably would. And they get pissed off of it because either their conscience won't let them or either they won't do it. Either their conscience won't let them, they don't have the option to do it, or they won't do it. Either they can't, don't have the option to, or won't do it. One of the three. But if they had number one, the courage, or number two, anything else in order to do it, then guess what? They would. People act like, I hate class policemen. Stop acting like if you had the opportunity to do something crazy or just go out there and do your own thing that you wouldn't do it. You just don't have the option to do it, or you don't, or your morality won't let you do it. Like I said, would my morality let me do something crazy? Probably not. But the thing is, I'm not going to knock somebody else for saying, okay, if you're going to do your thing, I'm going to go out and do mine. Just don't be mad. I always say this in any situation. Don't be mad when it's somebody else's turn, whether it's good or bad. If something good happens in somebody's life and they're able to reciprocate, don't get mad when it's their turn. If you're good to somebody and it's their turn to be good to you, don't get mad when it's their turn and they get their blessing. At the same time, if you do dirt to somebody, you do somebody dirty, you insult somebody, you do something nasty to somebody, and they go back and they get their lick back, don't get mad when it's their turn. It was their turn. Now it's your turn. So, I mean, hey, the main ones that don't want to give mercy to be the first one to beg for some. So, hey, I don't blame her at all. It is what it is.
Babyface, man. I just, and plus she's a hell of a promoter, hell of a businesswoman. Do you know her album? Not even 24 hours and already platinum.
Yeah.
She
Jay-Z
knows
standard.
that's something. And look, people, I also like her when she talks about politics, when she talks about a lot of other things. That tells you that Cardi B can not only rap, she can also entertain. Now, people don't like her because of the ratchetness, of course, how the way she talks from being the Bronx. But you know what? She's showing you she's a multitude of things. And that's what really sells with Cardi B. And look, hey, but unfortunately, Champ, to your point with the double standard, my therapist always tells me there's always a double standard when men do things, as you mentioned, compared to how women do things. So, and unfortunately, with Cardi, she has that perception. But I say Babyface because I think she does a lot of good things for the community, a lot of good things for people, and she just also, I'm being biased. Hell, I mean, I'm a Libra. She's a Libra, so I'm gonna give Libra love. Plus, you're a Libra as well yourself, champ.
Yeah, I am. I didn't really start paying attention to that until you and a lot of my friends started saying stuff like, and I started really looking it up because I didn't really know. I'm old, so I do old things. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna get mad at somebody for going either you getting your lick back or you want to be happy. I mean, either or.
She's
I have
enjoying
no.
her best life, and that's
You
all you
look
can't really blame her for. I mean,
exactly.
she's enjoying her life. Let her live it.
And my thing, he out there enjoying his damn life. I mean, but there's a lot of things that I won't get into here, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff that it's like stop with the double standards. It's when you out here acting a fool and then it comes back to you, then don't be mad at it. If I do somebody dirty and it comes back to me, I can't get mad at it. It's just payback for the dirt that I gave out. Karma is a what, and it will come back and it will bite you in the what. So guess what, man? Don't be mad and telling her what she need to do. She needs to do this. She needs to do that. No, we weren't saying that when he was doing it. When he was doing it, we said that dude wow, man. That dude wow. She doing it. Oh man, no, that ain't how it work in this world. It's
Hey,
like
hey,
do that.
champ, go to Roland Martin because he pointed out the hypocrisy on how so many people were offended with that WAP video with her and Megan Thee Stallion. Just go on Roland Martin Unfiltered, and he talked about how there have been far worse tracks. And he basically just said, hey, if you're not a fan of the art, the style of the music, that's fine. But don't act as if don't act as if we've never heard worse music than that, because we've heard far more. Look, and you from the South, we've seen some videos. We know about Nelly's tip drill.
Again, and it's not just the rap of the art. We've seen, look, I'm a rock and roll fan as well. I love classic rock and roll. We've literally seen albums by certain artists that has very, very suggestive type of themes that is really anti-religion, I would say. We've seen that. We've seen songs on AC/DC's album that we've literally bopped to, that WWE promoted a SummerSlam to, called Highway to Hell. We've seen that before. We've literally seen certain rock videos where things happen and we don't agree with it. We've seen Marilyn Manson. We've seen Eminem videos. So the thing is during
Madonna's Justify My Love.
Exactly. You know, she sampled that from Public Enemy, by the way.
No wonder why she loves the brother so much.
Yeah, she sampled that from Public Enemy. Lenny Kravitz, in fact, produced that.
Interesting.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz produced that. In fact, you know, because one of the producers, because their song had so many producers, they sampled that song on the second album, the song that they sampled was called Security of the First World, S1W. And if you really listen to Security of the First World from Public Enemy and listen to Justify My Love, it sounds exactly the same. And in fact, one of the producers from Public Enemy sued Lenny Kravitz and Madonna for that. Wow. So yeah, I mean, one of the producers, it wasn't Chuck D or one of the guys, it was, you know, one of the hidden producers of it. But yeah, go back and check that out. If you know, him and Chuck D and Lenny Kravitz actually had a little beef going on because of that. But
I'll go check it out.
But yeah, and I'm full of useless facts. My bad. I'm full of useless facts.
But we agree, Cardi B, Babyface, because again,
Cardi B is a babyface. And for people who saying that just because you know you're ratchet or whatever, you can be a multitude of things. I am a multitude of I know that because I'm a multitude of things. On here, I am a character. I tell jokes. I do this. I do that to make the show entertaining. In certain walks of my life, I'm very, very serious. And guess what? When it's time to be serious, I am. So just because somebody doesn't fit the mold of the button-up suit person or the button-up suit woman doesn't mean they can't have an opinion about politics, doesn't mean they can't have an opinion about society or live their best life. We've seen too many of those button-up type of guys go out there and live their best life and not a word is said. So just because you have a suit doesn't mean you have more of a right to say anything else about what's going on in society or anything else than someone who's wearing a dress just because it's see-through. Remember, the devil wears many masks. Just because you wear a suit doesn't make you any better. And I'll rest my case there.